Hey, I'm excited to tell you about the plan that our redesign team came up with to give Rose Valley Friends Church a bit of a facelift. And the reasons that we want to do that are, first of all, to modernize our worship facility and to make it as an investment into the future of Rose Valley Friends Church. We also want to create a space that is more community focused and conducive for hospitality and fellowship. And we want to make our space more visually appealing and beautiful, because the place that we worship is actually very spiritually formative. And we also want to make navigating our facilities very easy and intuitive for newcomers. So let's get into it. One of the first things that you'll notice when you walk into the building is our welcome area. So what we would like to do is to replace this table with one that will fit neatly under this window over here, and this will be our welcome table. And so the welcome table will be anything that we need to hand out, information about our church, and things like that. However, some things won't fit very neatly on the welcome table. So what we would like to do is also make a space above it that is the bulletin board for flyers, for posters at events, and things like that. But we need this window to be open during the week so the mirror can see through here and welcome people in, and for security reasons and everything. So what we'd like to do is to make this a modular bulletin board so that it either folds or slides over so that during the week we can keep this open, and then we close it on Sunday mornings so we can display all of our stuff that we need to display. But for lighting, we'd like to replace this sconce with one that shoots up and down to illuminate the area much better. And the last thing that we'd like to do is to just paint this whole wall accent color that complements our mural over there. Another thing that we'd like to do that'll honestly be probably one of the first things that we spend any money on as we raise money is to put a nice seating area right here with some plush seating. If anybody needs to leave the sanctuary, but they still want to be part of the worship, this would be a comfortable place for them to be. And then right above these windows, I'd like to put some memorabilia from Rose Valley Friends Church, old newspaper clippings and anything else, old pictures, displayed right up there so we can preserve our church's history. So to modernize our worship space, the first thing we would like to do is to repaint all the walls in here to make them white, the same white that matches out in the foyer. Now, as far as the platform goes, there are several things we'd like to do. So every Sunday when we are singing or having anything displayed on the screen, we're always covering up the cross. We want to fix that by putting up a new cross just below where it is, removing this one because it's too tall to just move down. So put a new cross right in the center that will never be covered up by the screen. And we'd also like to move it off the wall a little bit to add some backlights for a cool effect. And then we'd also like to put an olive colored paint on this middle section and on the parts of the wall with the doors. And then between them on the slanted part to put either shiplap or wood pallets basically from the floor all the way up to the top. And these holes on this part of the wall, they're not vents or anything. They house the speakers for the organ, which we will also plan to remove because we don't have any organ players anymore, unfortunately. So we need to cover up those holes too to support whatever it is that we're putting on the walls. And then the last thing would be to they're called wash lights, just LED lights that shoot straight up right in the middle of both of these flanking walls, and then also on either side of the cross as well. And then the last thing we'd like to do is to put some color changing LED lights and to illuminate the cove up here. That will give it a nice lift. Now the final shebang, probably the most involved part of this whole project, has to do with the library. So what we'd like to do is to move the place that we serve our coffee and treats, basically our hospitality food, as close to the entrance as possible. That way newcomers or anybody don't have to walk all the way across this big open room to get something. Instead, they can be greeted with some warm coffee and some cookies or something right off the bat. So we want to move this as close to the entrance as possible. So in order to pull this off, what we'd like to do is close this area, replace this door with a window and put counter space right there and a new wall, and open this part up as well for a new window and counter space. Probably install the door right in the corner over there. And then also open up this part of the wall down the hallway and move these bulletin boards basically right next to this childcare one right here. And then inside the library is where a lot of the cool stuff happens too. So we want to install some counter space kind of around here, wrapping around, and bring in a sink and anything else that the hospitality team needs. And perhaps even some seating kind of back here, but also seating just right out there in the corner that will kind of match this aesthetic of this coffee shop. As far as the books in here, we don't want to just get rid of all of them. What we'd first do is have a team of people sort through the books and determine what we want to make sure that we hold on to, and then offer the rest up to be taken home by whoever wants them. And then with the books that we hold on to move sections of these bookshelves into different areas of the church, relevant to whatever ministry happens in that room. So like in the children's ministry area or the nursery, putting the kids' books in there. In the prayer room, putting prayer-related books in there, and so on. So of course we can't do any of this until we've started fundraising. But before we can fundraise for the facelift project, we first need to replenish our reserves from the Cunningham roof project. So we're about halfway there, which means that we're about halfway there. But we hope that you're as excited about this project as we are, and that you're ready to support it when the time comes.